Jake, who in the hell are you?
I'm John Cena.
John Cena. What one quality do you possess to make you think you can face the best in the world?
Ruthless Aggression. That's what today's episode is about. It's about the Ruthless Aggression era. Woo! Haadi grew up with that era because he's old. You're old, Haadi. Ha 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 ha. I started watching WWE in like 2010.
That's sad. That's sad. You missed out on the best stuff.
I watched like YouTube Ruthless Aggression era, right?
Exactly.
But I guess to start off with
you didn't live it.
I want to start off our personal experiences. When was the first time you watched the Ruthless Aggression, like any moment match?
Yeah. So what's crazy is like the first match I ever saw was on YouTube was Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker, but that was Attitude Era. I was like 1 year old at the time. What's even crazier, my very first match that I saw on TV was John Cena versus Carlito, U.S. Championship. And I just met Carlito a couple days ago at Reality of Wrestling Summer of Champions. And I told him that. I told him, like, dude, you're the very first wrestling match I've ever seen. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. He's like, cool, let's take a picture. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And that match, I remember, I was like, I can't believe this dude, it's his debut, won the United States Championship.
Oh, John Cena.
It's so crazy, man. Yeah.
But
what was your first memory?
So like I said, I was around when I was born. I remember we talked about this actually when I was born. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit were the world champions when I was born, and then you had like a Big Show.
I had the GOAT Big Show.
WWE
28th, 1999. 99 was a great year in wrestling, though.
You were born in 99? I thought you were born in 2000. Holy shit!
Not new.
But anyways, yeah, my first Ruthless Aggression era related thing. So I remember, I watched in 2010. That's when I first started watching. But I started off with the Smackdown versus Raw 2007 game. But you know, I know. Did you ask that game? That game was amazing. But
I said yes.
Oh, I thought you said ass. I was like,
no. We talked about this on the video game episode. That's like my favorite game.
Yeah, same, bro. But I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about the first ever thing, Shawn Michaels and Triple H DX in 2006, which, I mean, was kind of like lackluster DX. It wasn't as good as Attitude Era, you know? But
if you were a kid, it was awesome.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that shit was great. I saw them drawing cocks before I knew what cocks meant on Vince McMahon's screen. I saw Shawn Michaels kick Stan and thought that was funny. I saw DX fight the Spirit Squad in the Ruthless Aggression era and thought that was match of the fucking year. And then, you know, So, that was my first experience. I loved Shawn Michaels. I loved Triple H. I loved DX. And, but since that's our first experience, I do want to talk about the first time the Ruthless Aggression era came in. When do you think was that first time where the Attitude Era ended and the Ruthless Aggression era rose up?
To me, it was the night Vince McMahon gave that promo where he stood in the middle of the ring and all the superstars joined him ringside because Stone Cold was gone, The Rock was gone, Hogan was gone, Undertaker was hurt. Like, there were no major stars. Triple H was hurt at the time too, I think. And
you're like,
yeah. Well, so like all these huge stars of the Attitude Era, the Attitude Era was beautiful in that they had all these major stars. You're lucky to have one, but they had all these guys, right? And now they're not here. Who can you bank on? Who's going to be the next guy to step up? Who is going to show some ruthless aggression? And I love that he's looking at guys like Bubba Ray Dudley or Bradshaw at the time, or Jeff Hardy, and I was like, none of these guys ended up. JBL did end up showing some ruthless aggression, but I remember that promo being a big deal, man. It really was the shift in the company. I think that the Attitude Era was gone, and that the stars of the Attitude Era were gone. They're not here anymore. Don't expect them because they're dead. I don't know, they're not dead, but they're gone.
Yeah, they're all dead. I mean, it's believable too. But For me, it's real tough to say. Like, the promo definitely was one where literally Ruthless Aggression was brought up. And I don't want to say, I really think Ruthless Aggression era started off around 2002, but I might say a little later is when I'd say Attitude Era was kind of officially gone, was whenever, I believe it was WrestleMania, I think it's 19, the last Austin versus Rock. And once you have Austin leave, like officially, and once you have, was the Vince McMahon promo 2003 too, or
2002, I believe.
2002? Yeah, because that's when John Cena debuted too, 2002, which is kind of weird to think that intertwined was technically Cena, The Rock, and Austin all in the same roster, same time. But WrestleMania 19 was one that I would think is like one of the pinnacles of, like, it shows you we don't have no more Austin, Rock. They're gone after tonight. We have your Brock Lesnar's though. We have your Kurt Angles, who was a big star when it came to Attitude Era as well, but at the end of it, then of course
SmackDown
you have
6 though.
the
Like
SmackDown 6. Oh my!
Yeah.
Let's talk about the SmackDown 6 a bit, actually.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. You had freaking Kurt Angle, Edge, Rey Mysterio, the Guerreros. I think did both of them count or one of them?
I feel like it's always mixed.
I'm pretty sure I always saw Chavo in the SmackDown 6 pictures. Let me look that up.
Me too, but it has to be Eddie. It has to be Eddie too, right? And Chris Benoit.
I can hear your voice.
I don't know. I had a cough in my voice. Something stuck in my throat. But yeah, my favorite superstar, Chris Benoit, was also part of it. Yes.
Yeah. So Chavo is part of the 6.
It's kind of weird to think, but I guess let's do it. Let's have a fun game. Let's rank the SmackDown 6 from worst to best.
So if we're going purely off of like what was being done at the time on SmackDown, the number 6 for me, it has to be Chavo, unfortunately. Because he is the tag team guy, but he was awesome during this time. Like the Guerreros were great. Number 5 though, I think I'll have to go with Edge because he wasn't a major star, but he was just like a rising star.
Yeah.
He wasn't there yet. I think then I'd have to go with Chris Benoit because like the SmackDown stuff was awesome, but I wouldn't say it's as memorable as the rest of the guys who were above him. Like who in my opinion would be after Chris I'd go Rey Mysterio. And then I would go Eddie, and then I'll go Kurt. I think Kurt number 1. Yeah, because this is he's about to get on the perk, so it's like things are about to go awesome.
Yeah, man. I think, Chris Benoit. It's weird because I think of him on SmackDown a lot, but he won his world title on Raw, right? I mean, he won the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, in one of my favorite matches of all time. Why'd you have to kill your family, man? Rey Mysterio, he had fantastic matches, but I feel like he was always known as this mid-carder until Eddie passed away. And Eddie, when Eddie first debuted, he was like someone who was like very he was a big mid-card, title guy with China by his side. That's kind of like Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. Shout out to Dominic for shockingly winning the NXT North American title. I'm so happy about that, actually.
Freaking love it, man.
Oh my god.
Freaking love it.
But yeah, Eddie, but when he left WWE and then came back like a year later, I think, or a few months later, holy smokes, bro. That's when things started going down. That's when Eddie was like on top, peak. Chavo again had some amazing matches. I think the most memorable ones were with like Eddie or Ray. And Edge, I'm gonna be honest with you. Edge, I didn't see much in Edge until he was on Raw too. When he started.
I remember like loving the Edge and Ray tag team stuff. And also Edge and Hulk Hogan becoming tag team champions on SmackDown.
That was weird. Yeah.
They beat my favorite tag team, Billy and Chuck. Shout out Billy and Chuck for the most banger theme song of all time, by the way.
I don't know, man. Like,
it's top 2 and it's not 2. Let's just.
And they're best friends. You know, they're nothing else, nothing more. They're best friends, and you know, that's sad that's peak Chuck Palumbo's career. Actually, remember when he was a biker?
Screw Chuck Palumbo. Yeah, that sucked. And he just beat up Jamie Noble.
Yeah, he just beat up Jamie Noble. Now we have to talk about the missing stars of the Ruthless Aggression era. We have our SmackDown 6, but I think there's more to the SmackDown 6. Maybe like a SmackDown 7 or 8. You know, the runner-ups. Like you had your Brock Lesnar, who was the next big thing, who I think technically debuted in the Attitude Era at the end of it, didn't he?
No, I think he debuted in 2002 on Raw.
Like early 2002, because I know he was beating up Spike Dudley and
the Hardys. Yeah.
The Hardys.
I don't know, but when I talk about SmackDown, I also think this was peak Big Show. I think Big Show was doing awesome stuff, man.
If you were born in this era, you would have been happy that Big Show was world champion. Or, you know, of course. I mean, you had John Cena debut on SmackDown, but what about Thugonomics John Cena, bro? Word life. Dude, I freaking love Thugonomics John Cena. Holy shit.
I was just listening to John Cena's album today. He has that one song, Make It Loud. That song is so good. It has like Taz in the intro, and then he has like a feature on it too. Like, how is he getting features?
Wait, Taz?
Taz like does the commentary intro. He's like, "Oh, it's about to get loud in here."
Oh, I thought Taz was featured as a rapper. I was like,
no.
Oh my god.
Just commentator / suplex machine. That's it.
Dude, I mean, and the announcers during the SmackDown era, I know we're focusing on SmackDown a lot, but we'll get to Raw here in a bit. It was, I believe, Taz, who I think is like the voice of SmackDown, personally, because I'd hear Taz a lot. You didn't like Taz as an announcer?
I don't enjoy Taz as a commentator.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't enjoy Matt Striker as a commentator either. I know that's a different era.
Yeah.
That's a different era, but just got to say that. Yeah. It's Michael Cole, though. Michael Cole, though, is always on point, always fire. He's top G of wrestling announcing. He's the best.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you got so mad at me when I said Pat McAfee was top 5, and I didn't include Michael Cole at 5 or one top 5.
You didn't include you put Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
No, you didn't put. I'm pretty sure you put McAfee over McMahon, on that list. That's why I was.
No, I did. I put McMahon over McAfee. I put McAfee like 5.
What's the top? How do you not have Michael Cole in your top 5?
Okay, here we go. Michael Cole's like 6, and
that's
actually
wrong.
This was a year ago, I think. Well, not exactly a year ago, but almost less than a year ago.
1 year is not going to change this.
But McAfee hasn't been announcing since
he's
September.
He's hype. He's good. He's good, but he's not. He only gets to do that because Michael Cole's there doing his thing.
Bro, Michael Cole got better, dare I say, because less Vince McMahon and more Pat McAfee. He got way better, more character.
Even when Vince was in his ear, Michael Cole was amazing, especially on Raw in 2011.
Oh, what the fuck!
You know how great of a heel he was? You know how annoying he was?
That was terrible. That was the worst example of an announcer ever. We need an announcers episode.
We need the announcers tier list coming up.
Michael Cole 2011 was probably one of the worst announcers to ever freaking exist. I'm not
one of the greatest heels to ever exist. All my coal miners out there will agree with me.
No, there is no coal miners. It's so bad. But anyways, yeah, back to Ruthless Aggression era. Not only did SmackDown have stuff, but surprisingly, little did you guys know, Raw had stuff because Evolution, it's a mystery.
The World Heavyweight Championship came back.
Oh my god. The big gold.
And they gave it, what makes something prestigious, right? Is it a great rivalry? Is it a great storyline? Is it a tournament? No, it's giving it to Triple H. Because as soon as you give it to Triple H, It's amazing. It's prestigious. And Triple H went on a reign of terror
Oh my
with that
God.
World Heavyweight Championship, and that's why he's one of the best. Triple H, to me, at the end of the video, we'll do our Ruthless Aggression Mount Rushmore. I'll say it right now. Triple H is on there.
I agree. Yeah. That freaking JR, them JR calls where he's like, that son of a bitch, hey, Triple H, son of a bitch. That's like he just kept calling him son of a bitch. Triple H, man, he was a menace. We've always talked about Randy Orton menace, do-rag Vince menace, but Triple H as a menace as part of Evolution was huge. Evolution is one of those rare stables where it was better than the Four Horsemen because everyone succeeded in Evolution. There's not many factions where you have everyone ends up becoming a world champion. Everyone ends up being successful to some extent. And we still have, shockingly, like 20 years of Randy Orton. Oh my God. I miss Randy though. He's still injured. I thought he was going to come back, Randy. But
I think they should have him come back like really randomly, like on a main event or something. Just RKO cameraman and leave.
He RKOs Tozawa and just leaves and then comes back like 3 months later. But
Tozawa Orton feud 2023. Make it happen.
Genuinely though, like this was like an amazing start for the Ruthless Aggression era with Evolution. I don't know if I think it started 2003. I don't know if Evolution really began the Ruthless Aggression era, but they were definitely a big part of it. Name your favorite Evolution matches / moments.
Moments, I would say Randy Orton beating Rob Van Dam for the Intercontinental Championship in 2004. I think that really made Randy Orton a star, and it's also a freaking fantastic match. I would also say that year, Randy Orton losing the Intercontinental Championship to Edge at Vengeance 2004, another incredible match. I think these were star-making stuff for Randy. Also, Randy Orton versus Mick Foley for the Intercontinental Championship.
It's just Randy Orton.
It's just Randy Orton, and it's just Intercontinental Championship matches. I will also say that Evolution versus the Rock and Sock Connection at WrestleMania 20. Dare I say, and I'm making up, I don't know if it's a bold statement or not, but Evolution is the greatest faction of all time.
Ooh, it's hard to disagree with you there. I mean, I still think at least my favorite stable, of course, is D-Generation X, boy. But
it's not the 8th day. Aram.
Oh, my bad. Mine's the Dream Team and Dustin Wynn, but then something happened. But yeah, so one of my favorite Evolution matches, which again is when Randy Orton it's Randy Orton versus Chris Benoit at SummerSlam. And like that was a very like
not for the Intercontinental Championship.
For the World Championship, my bad. Him becoming world champion and then getting beat down by Triple H, and then Randy becomes face in probably one of the worst, unmemorable face runs ever.
The thumbs up, thumbs down is one of the most iconic taunts ever. That was such a cold moment. Having Randy on Batista's shoulders like that. Hey, you finally done it. And to me, this is why the Triple H character is so great. It's the most consistent character in all of wrestling. Face, heel, it doesn't matter. Triple H always wants the same thing. He wants to be at the top. And he'll do anything to be at the top. He'll throw his friends to the side. He'll surround himself with goonies. He'll do anything to be in the top level. And when he can't beat Chris Benoit, but his young protege, Randy Orton, can, that just makes his blood boil. So Randy Orton, you're out. No more Intercontinental Championship matches for you.
You know, like Celebrity Family Feud. I bet Triple H would win in a Celebrity Family Feud against Chris Benoit. Do you get it? Because Chris Benoit killed his family. There's not much of a feud there. And Haadi has left the building after his high-flying Owen Hart jokes. Is he coming back? Did I just sever a friendship?
Am I lying when I say Owen Hart is one of the greatest high flyers of all time?
But I'll tell you some of my favorite matches of the Ruthless Aggression era, though. Great segue. You had Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels, two of my favorite wrestlers of all time, going at it at WrestleMania. I believe it was 20, 21, 22, or is it 21? I think it's 21, actually.
Yeah,
21.
just imagine if Kurt Angle is off a perk on that match. It would have been taken to another level. Meltzer might have even given it a 5-star if he was on a perk.
I actually just saw Seth Rollins talk about, Dave Meltzer on Logan Paul's podcast, and he was like, don't even mention his name. I don't give a damn about him. He sucks. It's so subjective.
It really does. He does suck.
Man, but Angle versus Michaels was so good. It was just like beautiful. I mean, what other feud will allow you to have Kurt Angle calling him a sexy Kurt? Nah. I just did an LA Knight no. Nah. Nothing there. Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero, which was a huge one. You had Taker and Hardy, which I think was Ruthless Aggression, right? The ladder match they had, or is that more of an attitude?
That was still attitude era.
So I thought that was like
it was like 2001. I think it's 01.
I thought it was 02.
It might have been 02 because he's on the bike, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but when it comes to Ruthless Aggression, I immediately think of, and I know a lot of people won't think this, I think of JBL, because to me, Vince McMahon was in the ring talking to guys on the rope, and you can see Bradshaw there as Bradshaw, really listening and nodding his head, and Vince McMahon is looking at him like, dude, you're a guy who's been in this company for a long time, and you think you're a main event guy, but you haven't done anything to show me that. And poor Farouk gets thrown to the wayside, fired by Paul Heyman, and JBL, the JBL character, becomes what this man is most known for. Like, imagine being in the company for this long, and your 2-year run, or like, not 2 years, like your run as the JBL character is the thing you're mostly known for. One of the longest reigning WWE champions. One of the best rivalries with John Cena. One of the best matches with The Undertaker, right? Like, JBL to me really proved that he was world championship material. It doesn't happen for a lot of guys that they spend majority of their career in a company, do mostly tag team stuff, and then suddenly at the tail end of their career become world champion status.
Yeah, JBL was someone who is definitely someone you can look out for as like one of the top stars in the Ruthless Aggression era. One of the longest reigning WWE champions, especially in SmackDown history before AJ Styles took over it. Honestly, but in retrospect, I didn't really like his title reign. It was like, I mean,
Orlando Jordan was in the building. Jordan's in the building, and he has black tights with yellow squirrels.
Oh, baller! So cool.
Do I need to say anything else? And the Basham Brothers. Remember that intro?
Yeah, the Basham Brothers.
Like where their head is like turning crazy. Yeah, fucking loved it.
No, I mean, it just felt his reign was weak because we've talked about this too. When we ask like for world champions, when are you gonna win a match clean? This was a year of just dirty winning matches, never really winning one clean.
But to be honest, like, it's different with Roman, it's different with JBL, because JBL, I never really wanted to see him win clean. Never really cared. Him versus Eddie Guerrero was an awesome match. And I don't care. Like, these awesome matches, I don't care how they end, because JBL is so despicable. Roman Reigns is a heel, but he's not a despicable guy. He's not a guy that you're like, oh, I hate him, I'm going to boo him. He's a guy like, oh, he's, you boo him because you're supposed to boo him. JBL, though, this is a situation where you got to boo him.
Yeah, you got to boo him because he doesn't wrestle as good as Roman Reigns. So I can't handle a 365-day reign with him, especially if he loses or like pretty much loses every match and can't wrestle too well either from it. But I will say
Tuesdays.
I that's true. I will say one thing though. I really do love the fact that he hunted down like a true American, illegal immigrants on the border of Mexico. It's like, you tell everyone south of the border, this is Bradshaw's country.
You tell those Mexicans and your Mexican friends that this side of the border is protected by John Bradshaw Layfield. And you know who he kicked? You know that dude he kicked? That's freaking Rudy Boy Gonzalez. Like that's a legend in the business. Yeah.
Really?
And he just kicked him like it's nothing.
Oh shit!
You tell
Rudy
your Mexican
Gonzalez,
families and you tell your Mexican friends that this side of the border is protected by Jay. And I like how he's like whispering and crawling up. And he's like, the U.S. government does nothing about this. This great state of Texas gets entrenched by these millions of illegals every year. I'm like, oh my God, where's the wrestling?
We don't need the border patrol when we have John Bradshaw Layfield on the north of the Mexican border. And I like Vince McMahon's approach. He was like, you know what? I need to see some star power in you, JBL. The first thing JBL did, go to Fox News and start becoming a financial analyst. Maybe Brodus Clay can actually win world championships now because he's a huge Fox News.
He is NWA world champion. He is that level. Tyrus is ready to beat Roman Reigns.
As the Funkasaurus. That's what we need. Why? That Funkasaurus theme song has always been used,
So freaking good, though.
It is. Remember when Shawn Michaels and God were a team and then Vince danced with God?
Somebody call my mama. Dang.
It was funny when Vince McMahon, this is relevant, I guess, because it was in the Ruthless Aggression era, when Vince McMahon was like, wow, your tag team partner, God. And then when God comes out, Vince is like, just so shocked to see God.
I can already see him in the creative room. He's like writing this. He's like, man, the people are gonna love this.
Another funny JBL moment I want to bring out is whenever he was fighting Godzilla or some shit. He was like, I think he was talking about Big Show. He's like, he's like a big Godzilla, kind of racist, And then I think shot like a tranquil dart at Big Show and just started beating him down. JBL was out of pocket most of the time,
We love JBL. Shout out to JBL. Especially, I got to meet JBL WrestleMania 38. This man was an extremely kind man. Yeah, he was like, I love you, kid. And I was like, and then, you know what I want to talk about, though?
Huh?
The divas. Something that has carried over from the Attitude Era is like the mud wrestling,
brawn panties matches.
And genuinely, I thought about this the other day. Why does this happen at wrestling events? Like, who wants to watch wrestling and then they're like, all right, 10 minutes, let's get horny. Like,
I mean,
who's like, for 10 minutes, let's just get horny.
It's because, man, that was the 2000s audience, the 90s audience. It was all males watching wrestling. And, especially when it was on Spike TV, I saw like a little documentary about this, not about wrestling, but about Spike TV and how it's targeted towards boys. And all it talked about was girls' titties and muscles. But not for real. I mean, one of my favorite moments regarding sex is, of course, the live sex celebration. Woo, with Edge and Lita. What a divas moment, right? I remember seeing not for real though. I remember seeing Edge's podcast with Logan Paul, or Logan Paul's podcast with Edge, and then Edge was like, "Yeah, I kind of didn't want to do it. I kind of didn't want to have sex, but we were kind of just pitched the idea, and then we were kind of forced into doing it. Well, not forced, but we kind of just said fuck it and just did it." I don't know if they actually had sex, but I think they actually were nude. Yeah.
I remember also like a key feature of the Attitude or the Ruthless Aggression era was the Diva Search Contest, where they have like all these women had to like call the number.
The Miz. The number is text 9032.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this is low key like downgrading from where we were. We just had 2004 leader Trish Stratus in the main event of Raw, and now where are we going?
Yeah, I mean,
at least we had Tori Wilson.
Tori Wilson was amazing. Brought out the little puppy. I just don't. Yeah, women's wrestling was not very respected in the Ruthless Aggression era. The Attitude Era, they kind of just forgot about it after Alundra Blaze kind of just threw that fucking belt down the drain. And the 80s, it wasn't really existent besides Fabulous Moolah. Who loves Fabulous Moolah? Raise your hand. Oh, okay. You see that? You see that? Victims of Fabulous Moolah? Haadi's a supporter. But yeah, I mean, damn, it's kind of a shame that women's wrestling wasn't really like peaked. You had Trish Stratus, you had Lita, but they're always sexualized, you know.
Yeah, Victoria, who I think was like one of the most underrated in-ring talents, truly.
I mean, but let's talk about the tag team champions or the tag team division in the Ruthless Aggression era. We talked about Evolution, but let's talk furthermore. Who are your favorite tag teams during this era?
So easy, bro.
Oh my god,
Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
I thought you were gonna say Billy and Chuck.
No, they were legit one of my favorites. Like I always played as them in Smackdown. Shut your mouth. I always listened to their theme song. I always wanted to wear a red headband. When I was a kid, I didn't know they were pretending to be gay. I just thought they were cool. But legit, Paul London and Brian Kendrick were one of the most fun tag teams to watch, and they're like a key part of my childhood. Like it's burned into my brain watching Paul London, and I remember him getting fired for smiling. It's the funniest thing ever.
That was the funniest thing ever, dude. Like whenever Vince was about to die, and Paul was just like,
and then Brian Kendrick gets a push out of it, and then he becomes sliced bread. Brian Kendrick, just cool dancing dude, you know.
Dude, when Brian Kendrick won the WWE Championship, technically for like 5 minutes or something, that was the best thing ever, dude.
I thought we were gonna have a really bright future in the WWE, but they didn't want sliced bread being world champion.
I'll tell you besides DX, one of my favorite tag teams of all time, or not of all time, in the Ruthless Aggression era. Again, like I said, I love DX when they came back 2006 because that was my childhood, right? And of course, looking back now, it's not as good as the '90s version, but one of my other favorite of Ruthless Aggression era. Bring out the red carpet. It's Eminem, bro. It's Mercury and Melina, or Nitro Melina. That's what Eminem stands for, dude. That's when I started loving like John Morrison and like Johnny Nitro. Was whenever he was there, and like whenever Edge was like, I'm a civil rights activist, and just so you know, Johnny Nitro or Joey Mercury's great grandmother was black, and I refuse to perform in front of these bigots. I love civil rights activist Edge. It was so good. But no, Eminem was very exciting when Mercury got his fucking face exploded by that ladder. Oh my god, that was traumatizing as a kid. Those damn Hardy Boys. But Eminem was just so entertaining, dude.
Can you tell me about a tag team that you hated from Ruthless Aggression?
Like hated, like
that they existed.
Huh?
Like I think of like the Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cade. I hated that.
You didn't like Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cade?
No, and I didn't like the Highlanders either. I was there.
The Highlanders
for Jesse and Festus. That was my
yes. They weren't Ruthless Aggression, were they?
I don't know. They made me a man. It was like 2008. Yeah.
I get like the very end. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Tail end of the career.
I'll tell you what. Before I get into that, I can't. We're mentioning tag teams. How can I forget? Brooklyn. It's Crime Time, dude. I fucking loved Crime Time. We got that money. Yeah.
I did that handshake that they did at the entrance room. I did that every day from 4th grade to 5th grade, like every single day. That was my tag team. Even like recently, like 2 years ago, I played in a college dodgeball tournament and I won that thing. And I did that I saw my friend and we did the Crime Time like tag team handshake. They will have a profound impact on my life forever because I was sitting in 4th grade, Miss Morgan's class at Brazos Bend Elementary, and I was making paper wristbands so I can be like Shad, and I would put them around my wrist and I'd go to the ditch and I'd fight.
Bro, I love Shad and JTG. Fucking rest in peace, Shad, bro. And of course, when I start watching wrestling, Shad breaks up with JTG. Come on. That's someone who I also watched on YouTube a lot, Crime Time. They were so funny. But to go back to your original question, I wasn't a big fan of, well, of course, the Spirit Squad, looking back now. When I was a kid, I thought they were cool because, I liked seeing them beat up. But like looking back, what was the point of the Spirit Squad? I guess just to get their ass beat the whole time. They beat Ric Flair and Roddy Piper for the tag team championships, didn't they?
I think so. I
And
think so.
I wasn't a big fan of the Bashams either, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. The Bashams are awesome, bro.
Man.
The Bashams are awesome. And
Not a big Bashams
also at
fan.
that time, freaking the Mexicals, man.
Dude, the Mexicals were cool.
It's in the name. They
came in with the tractor, bro. The freaking
the lawnmowers.
The lawnmowers, yeah. So kind of racist.
I remember Super Crazy ended up quitting the WWE because it was getting too expensive for him. He couldn't afford the travel because he was getting paid so low. They're like, bro, you want to play this illegal immigrant character? We're gonna pay you like 1, 2.
You're not gonna get paid shit, dude. I remember when I first.
It's probably because of JBL. He was probably like, tell your Mexican friends, tell your Mexican families that JBL is on this side of the border.
I fucking love JBL. He's so dumb. I'll tell you what. I don't know if this considers as a Ruthless Aggression era tag team, but this is one of my favorite tag teams of all time. What would you think about Booker T and Goldust? Are they Ruthless Aggression, would you say, or are they more Attitude Era? Because they're on that like verge, right?
Yeah, they're on that cusp. I don't know.
Well, let's put them out there because I freaking love Booker T and Goldust. They were so funny. Like that. That's what R-Truth and Goldust. That's what the Golden Truth, R-Truth and Goldust tried to be, but they couldn't match the beautiful nature of Booker T and Goldust. It was just so funny. I'll let you have a bite of my wiener if you let me have a sip of your Slurpee. Man, the Booker T was like, get your bitch ass out of my face. Man,
remember when Lance Storm did the Goldust like face paint and he was just standing there with Goldust? That's the most interesting Lance Storm ever got.
Or when William Regal dressed up as Goldust, like for Raw Roulette. Speaking of which, Raw Roulette. Let's talk about Raw Roulette. That was like an accidental segue. I'm not gonna lie. So, how'd you feel when Eric Bischoff came in? It was like, "Hey guys, I have an idea." Well, I don't know if this was like, backstage, but in character, he was like, "We're gonna have Raw Roulette come out, spin the wheel." And then we're gonna do that type of match. How'd you feel about Raw Roulette?
I loved it. I loved everything. I loved everything pretty much Eric Bischoff was doing at the time. Whether it was the Elimination Chamber, whether it was Raw Roulette, whether it was giving Triple H the GOAT, the world title for free,
or officiating Billy and Chuck's marriage.
Exactly. Or for always wearing that stupid Taekwondo outfit and thinking he could fight.
Hot lesbian action too.
Oh yeah, HLA. Never forget. Never forget HLA.
Bro.
He knows how to sell. Yeah, Raw Roulette was fun. It reminds me a lot of like the Cyber Sunday like gimmick. And I think they should do something more like that today with something more fan involved. The problem with that is it's so unpredictable and it requires wrestlers to call it in the ring more, which is something I think is becoming less common or more common with some wrestlers, especially spot heavy wrestlers, and something less common kind of in general is like, oh, we'll plan our match out and then we'll go do it. So I don't know if they can do that, but I wish for more fan interaction like Raw Roulette did. Like, what are memories you have of Raw Roulette?
I'd say most of my Raw Roulette memories may have came from like newer Raw Roulettes, but I do want to like I know there was a lot of bra and panties matches, right, with Raw Roulette. It's always with the women. I think they had some with men too. I remember in 2013, Tensai had one. A nightgown outfit. Al Snow versus Test, which was a pretty good one. It was like a street fight. I don't know if you remember that one, but it was like, oh my god, that was actually pretty cool. I fucking love the street fight, man. I think that they need to bring Raw Roulette back. I don't know about like Turbo Tuesday or Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday, because I just saw like a Cultaholic top 10 video. Taboo Tuesday had like the lowest rating or lowest attended pay-per-view ever. But I guess that's because it's on a Tuesday. That's a weird time to have a pay-per-view.
The way PLEs are going now, I have no doubt with the way WWE conglomerate has become that they could sell out an arena doing a Taboo Tuesday or a Cyber Sunday.
Do you think there's like any way that, I don't know, like, was the Raw roulette wheel weighted? Because I feel like it had to be, right? I don't know how they'd spin the wheel, and then, you know, I loved it when they had karaoke battles and, you know, dance battles.
They put the entertainment in sports entertainment for sure.
Yeah, Raw roulette was pretty good. I also want to talk about, I guess, the grandest show of the year, WrestleMania, throughout the Ruthless Aggression era. And what I guess I said, like, the first WrestleMania that I consider a Ruthless Aggression WrestleMania was probably 2003 WrestleMania 19. And I guess it ended off in 2008, I would say. WrestleMania, I gotta remember, 24, I think.
When did WWE go PG?
2008, like middle of 2008. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And yeah, 2008 was the last one.
So I mean, I
July
guess like
2000.
Out of that time span, I guess, which was your favorite WrestleMania? Which were your favorite WrestleMania Ruthless Aggression matches? And yeah,
pretty much like we're talking about WrestleMania 29 or WrestleMania 19 to 24.
Yeah,
I guess. 21 was really amazing. WrestleMania 21 because it was the first time they went to Hollywood, or not the first time. It's the first time they did the Hollywood gimmick, and they did all those movie commercials. And I remember they are all doing that taxi driver film, and it was everyone wearing the green jacket, be like, "Who you talking to me?" And then freaking Big Show was so funny, and Rey Mysterio was in his mask. I was like, and then Tajiri.
Tajiri, bro. That's another good Ruthless Aggression tag team. William Regal and Tajiri.
Dude, remember when Tajiri was he stole Chavo's gear, and then him and Eddie were gonna tag, and then he started using like Mexican slang, and then he told Eddie, he was like, "No, we have to go out to the ring and style." He's like, "I stole a car," and they just pull up and I'm like, bro. Yeah, it was freaking amazing. Tajiri's awesome. WrestleMania 21 though, the very first Money in the Bank ladder match. You had some incredible matches on there. I think you had Batista and Triple H, which is the conclusion, or not the conclusion because they kept it going after. One of the best rivalries in that era. I would definitely say. WrestleMania 22 was also really good. And then WrestleMania 23 was also really good.
I think all those WrestleManias was really good. Time span was really good. WrestleMania 20 was really good too.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. It's that Brock Lesnar Goldberg match that sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, 19 had that freaking was it that Rey Mysterio Matt Hardy Cruiserweight Championship match?
I think so. And they had Jericho Michaels, they had Angle, Lesnar, Rock, Austin. Oh, that was a really Hogan. I think it was Hogan versus McMahon, which actually wasn't that bad either, if I'm being honest.
Of course, gotta go Hogan.
Oh, honestly, goddamn. More I think about it, all these WrestleManias were kind of banger. Like, I love WrestleMania 20 was probably my favorite one because Lesnar versus Goldberg was ass. But of course, you had Benoit, Michaels, Triple H, you had Guerrero and Kurt. Cena versus Show felt more like a spot fest, which isn't a bad thing. Like, technical wrestling, it wasn't the best, but it was cool to see Cena lift Big Show. 2021 after, that was Michaels versus Angle, which I mentioned. I believe it was Triple H and Batista, which was really fucking awesome. This is when Batista left Evolution, and that was one of the best face turns of all time. And that was really amazing. 06, I'm gonna keep bringing up Michaels because I think Michaels was on a roll on WrestleMania. Michaels and McMahon. Oh my god, I had so much fun watching that. Shawn Michaels just beating the hell out of McMahon, making him bleed. And then 07, you had Michaels and Cena, which was an amazing match, but the match they had on Raw was even better. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that, Shawn? I love you. And then 08, he had Flair versus Michaels. Okay, here's my deal. I think that Shawn Michaels, in my opinion, peaked better in the Ruthless Aggression era than he did in the Attitude New Generation era.
I won't disagree with you.
Just over because of match quality, I guess.
Yeah,
and he believed in God and wasn't a coke addict. He wasn't coked up all the time.
Yeah, I grew up with that Shawn Michaels too, so I loved him for that. But man, like Ruthless Aggression, I think really changed the perception of what wrestling could be in a major company, because unlike every other generation before it, they didn't bank on major stars. Like, they had major stars being created, but they also had that world title getting passed around a lot, right? They put it on guys like JBL, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, guys they would never put it on if you had a guy like Stone Cold or The Rock, right? And that to me is what Ruthless Aggression is. And when they found their Hulk Hogan, John Cena, that thing ended. They're like, no more. None of y'all getting titles.
I mean, yeah, dude. Cena, I think we got Super Cena around 2006, I believe. That's when you can say he started becoming Super Cena, when the crowd started to turn on him some more. One of the best matches of all time, one of the best Money in the Bank cash-ins came in from that. Rob Van Dam versus John Cena. That was a fun match. And I guess we mentioned it. Money in the Bank was made in Ruthless Aggression era. The first ever Money in the Bank, WrestleMania 21, where Edge won, and then Edge did his cash in, and then we had a whole Money in the Bank episode about this. But it's all started in the Ruthless Aggression era. And check out that Money in the Bank episode, by the way.
Do it right now. I should do it after this episode and go
not right now, please.
And then subscribe.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, like, Ruthless Aggression was freaking awesome, and I've been patient, man. I've been patient. I just want to know. I want to know who is your Mount Rushmore of Ruthless Aggression, because I don't want to wait no more.
You want to do it one at a time?
No, actually, because it was a little harder to edit when I was making the clips. So just go all at once.
I got you, bro. We got to start off with Triple H. You mentioned it. I mentioned it. I really enjoyed Triple H. He was a big part of Monday Night Raw, with Evolution, with the world title. I won the best world title reigns ever. So yeah, definitely Triple H, huge star. Number 2 has to be my favorite, or one of my favorite wrestlers, Kurt Angle. When I think of the Ruthless Aggression era, I think about Kurt Angle. You think about Shawn Michaels. You think about his feuds with John Cena, with Eddie Guerrero, with Brock Lesnar. I don't know if I mentioned Brock Lesnar. With Big Show. Rey Mysterio. Oh my God, I love Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle, you look at Kurt Angle around the Attitude Era, he was really fun to see. I loved his moveset, loved everything about him. Once he made it to the Ruthless Aggression Era, a little bit perked up, he got 10 times better. I don't condone perks, though. Third, it's really tough. So many good wrestlers out there, man. I guess I have to say it, as much as I don't want to. Chris Benoit. I know, because I think that Chris Benoit put hella matches on here, man. Great IC title reign, I believe, during this time. He had a fun U.S. title reign, too. He beat Orlando Jordan 10 seconds, and then, had his whole run there. And, of course, the world title reign. For a time being, 2004, Chris Benoit was peak, man. Everyone was wanting him to win. He was getting the Sami Zayn treatment, bro. People were booing Shawn Michaels, the face, so Chris Benoit can have the world title. And everyone hated Triple H. But, I don't know. Chris Benoit, what an amazing person in the ring. Terrible person outside of it. God damn it. And then the fourth person, this one, again, it's way harder. I could say Shawn Michaels, but I'm not going to say Shawn Michaels. I could say John Cena, but I'm not going to say John Cena. So I guess this is the person. We got to do a little drum roll. The person who I consider the fourth man on the Mount Rushmore. It's Eddie Guerrero. I think that Eddie definitely
Correct.
deserves it, man. Eddie is just fantastic, especially during this run. It's such a shame it happened so short, but in that short amount of time, he did so much things in that Ruthless Aggression era. Um, Amazing WWE Championship win, which I'm glad he got to do before he passed away. And he is Dominic's daddy. We all know it. We all can tell. We know how Dominic's acting right now. That's Eddie's. That's Eddie in him. Ooh, that's my Mount Rushmore though.
Very, very solid Mount Rushmore. There's really no argument to that. That could be completely valid. But there's so many stars during this era.
Yeah.
Like you could completely mix it up and also be right?
Mhm.
But I will have to agree that Triple H, my personal favorite, has to be on this list. He is the leader of Evolution. He helped elevate guys like Randy Orton, Batista. He helped rejuvenate Ric Flair. He elevated the World Heavyweight Championship to be, at one point, probably the only time in history that the World Heavyweight Championship was more important than the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
Because that never happens, but it was happening because JBL was champion. Um, after that, I'm gonna go with Brock Lesnar because Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar was a huge deal, like, to the business. I don't think people understand the magnitude of what it means to have found Brock Lesnar, because this man is one of the most impressive athletes of all time. In his short time with the company during Ruthless Aggression, he did so much. He almost broke his neck doing was that the shooting star on Kurt?
Yeah.
That main event, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar, was the first main event ever where both guys are just using their real names. You know, it's so
It was
cool.
such a good main event too.
It was. And Brock Lesnar, I remember him and Kurt Angle having that Iron Man match on SmackDown. That was dope. And him losing it to Eddie, the title, who is my next guy on the Rushmore, Eddie Guerrero. I think you can't deny the talent. I go back and watch that video of him entering El Paso with the United States Championship maybe like once a month because of the magnitude of it, just how cool it was. Like, I remember, like, this is amazing. Like, I'll really never get to witness a talent like this ever again, and that's the sad part. But Edgar is one of the greatest of all time. Unlike, I personally believe Chris Benoit was a little bit overrated. That's why I don't put him on there.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think people give him a lot more attention because of what he did. I think if he never did what he did, we wouldn't be talking about him like we do today.
No,
But
it's his
yeah,
in-ring work, man.
there's been so many special in-ring people before, though. Like it's literally, his name is famous because of what he did. If he never did that, we wouldn't be talking about him as one of the greatest, in my opinion. But lastly, is Batista. Batista,
Mm.
to me, he was Ruthless Aggression at a point. Like, the feud with Triple H was the biggest thing in wrestling at the time. Him and Undertaker at WrestleMania was amazing. Him winning the Royal Rumble in '05, tying it with Cena at first and coming back and doing all that stuff. That was amazing. Uh, and the World Heavyweight Championship literally looked like it was made to be on Batista's waist. That's how good he looked with it. And I know he's probably the least accomplished person in Evolution, but it's also because he's held those titles longer. He didn't keep dropping them, you know?
I think he's
He would
older than
just,
Triple H too.
yeah. And he's amazing. He was awesome. One of a really great talent. So this is my four. List your four again.
It's Kurt Angle. It's gonna be Eddie Guerrero. It's gonna be Triple H and Chris Benoit.
Wow, what a Mount Rushmore. I'm going with Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Batista, and Eddie Guerrero.
I
Those are
will not
my four.
handle that Chris Benoit disrespect. Okay, well, I can't handle it because of the stuff he did. But yes, man, but because the way I see him before we end the episode, the way I see him in ring looking, he reminds me of AJ Styles mixed with Daniel Bryan. You put them together, that's Chris Benoit, in my opinion. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
You don't. He literally, Daniel Bryan literally got his moveset inspired by Chris Benoit.
Yeah, I don't see the
diving
AJ
headbutt.
Styles.
You don't?
No. And I've been watching AJ Styles since he was in NWA TNA. Like, I grew up on that.
I don't think he's like more of a high flying AJ Styles, like, but more of like I don't know, the 2017, 2016 AJ Styles we saw in WWE.
It reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle,
Kurt Angle.
mixed with a little bit of Bret Hart. And that's
Okay.
that's how I describe Chris. But to me, he's not better than both of those guys. Like Kurt Angle is better than Chris Benoit, and Bret
I
Hart's better
agree.
than Chris Benoit.
I agree.
And that's why like I can't like talk about him. Like when everyone's like, oh, he's so amazing in ring. I'm like, yeah, he is. But I can also name like 15 other guys who are better than him in ring.
Ooh, that's a
the next
bold
video.
claim.
That's the next video. Name 15
Superstar
guys
Showcase. Chris Benoit.
Not happening. Not happening.
But yeah, this was fun though. I bet you it took you down a bit of a memory lane, and kind of took me down some memory lane too. I did grow up with the Ruthless Aggression era. Thank you, SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
Thank you.
I played as Vito.
You played as Cuck Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Oh my god, I did. Holy shit. I forgot I told you that and told you guys that. But thank you guys so much for watching. And if you think we missed out on any Ruthless Aggression moments, such as, I don't know, ECW, it's just that can be like a whole episode for another time. Oh my
Honestly,
god.
ECW video coming in the near or not so near future. It'll just be in the future.
Whenever we feel like.
Episode 283, ECW.
Now we have to do it. Episode 283.
It's we literally have to save episode 283 for ECW so we can reference this.
Oh man. If we're still
be on the lookout.
If we're still doing this like 250 episodes from now.
With the way we're pumping out episodes right now, we'll get there.
We're gonna stop being friends here by like next week.
Don't say that.
No, I'm kidding.
Scissor me.
I'll scissor you. But remember, if you enjoyed this, subscribe. Go to us on Spotify. Go to us on Instagram. Like this. Comment, please. We need more comments. And like us on, or follow us on TikTok. Do whatever pleases your spidey senses. And of course,
why wouldn't you?
Stay restless.
Yeah.